Hello, everybody. This is John Perivale with Access Arts Live once again with this week's roundup of live stream chamber music action for the week of November 10th to November 17th. It's 7 o'clock in the evening here in Paris, France, where I'm live streaming, which means it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast in the US, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. And I don't remember what time it is down under in Australia, but probably very late at night or very early in the morning. So I don't expect any of our Australian followers to catch this live stream live. Folks, we have so much going on this week for me to tell you about. We have three top string quartets for you this week. You can see them in the photo there. The Carpe Diem string quartet, the Y415, I know it's an unusual name, string quartet, and the Elmore string quartet going on this week. But then we have two piano duos. One of them already logged in earlier today from St. Mary's Perivale. The other one will be on Thursday from St. Mary's Perivale. We've got early music for you. We have got a cello and piano duo, and there's a superb harpist on Sunday noontime that I want to tell you about, noontime here in Europe. Before I go any further, let me remind you, though, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other 6 platforms, do yourself a favor and follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, and make sure you get our more than 1,000 live links to live performances online this year. Nobody else can make that claim. So, having said that, let us get right on to the first of the live streams that I want to tell you about this week, because it's coming up later today. Let me clean up my notes here so I don't have too many pages staring up at me when I try to go down and consult my notes. I've got organ links and everything. I just did the organ thing about 40 minutes ago or something like that, just ended it. Okay, so let us move forward. You can discover a new live stream concert series this week along with us. Today, Noontime Concerts in San Francisco live streams the fairly illustrious Carpe Diem String Quartet, playing works by Dinuk Wijeratne, Paul Wianco, and Franz Schubert. Tuesday, November 11th at noon out in San Francisco time. And noon in San Francisco is 9:30 in the evening here in Europe. They're 9 hours behind us. We're 9 hours ahead. And 6:30 in the evening on the East Coast. No, that's not right. It's 3:30 on the East Coast and 9:30 here in Europe. We're very happy to have, we found this live stream series actually at the beginning of September, but we're just getting organized to keep them online because there's so much going on, folks. The piece by Dinuk Wijeratne, whom I absolutely don't know, is called Two Pop Songs of Antique Poems and a Letter from the Afterlife. So there you go. And it's, modern music is no longer string quartet number 3, opus 7. It's that. And then the piece by Paul Wianco is called Benkei's Standing Death. And then they'll finish up with Franz Schubert's, for you classicists among us, string quartet number 14 in D minor, also known though as the Death and the Maiden Quartet. The Carpe Diem String Quartet, like so many contemporary groups, is interested in crossing the boundaries between different genres, as you can maybe tell by the selection of pieces that they're going to be playing. But they've played all over the place. They've played at Carnegie Hall in New York City, Jordan Hall in Boston, the Accademia Chigiana in Siena, Suntory Hall in Tokyo, the Library Concert Hall in Beijing, etc., etc. And it's Sam, but they've also played in places like, they tell us, the Poisson Rouge in New York City, and the Bach Dining and Dynamite Society of Half Moon Bay, which I haven't been to in decades, and that's a lovely place. Oh, if you're in the Bay Area, you got to check it out. You don't know it. And if you go visiting California, Bach Dancing and Dynamite Society of Half Moon Bay. Oh, It's like a wood sort of cafe with great classical music concerts, among other things. The members of this are Sam Weiser on the violin. He's a New England Conservatory graduate, but then also San Francisco Conservatory. Dr. Marisha Ishikawa, also she's the second violin. She's from Houston, Texas. Corinne Fujiwara is a professor of violin, viola, and chamber music at Pacific Lutheran University, one of the founding members of this quartet. And Ariana Nelson, the cellist, she plays with the Houston Grand Opera Orchestra. Happy to find it. Enjoy it. Free of charge. Then we move on to tomorrow, Wednesday, when March Vivo will be up and running for this week. We only have 2 live streams for you from March Vivo this week because one of their live streams is jazz, and jazz is not our thing. Personal decision on my part. Anyway, March Vivo celebrates its new Steinway grand piano by live streaming 5 top Spanish pianists across 3 generations. That's Joseph Colom, Josu de Solán, Juan Floristan, Ana Guijarro, and Noelia Rodiles, Wednesday, November 12th. Enjoy it. I can't give you the list of all the things they're going to be playing. There's so many of them. It's also the 50th anniversary of the inauguration of the Juan March Foundation headquarters. Juan March Foundation are the people that run March Vivo. But there'll be some Bach, some Kaploukhii, some Schubert, some Gabriela Ortiz, some pieces by Joseph Colom, who was one of the pianists playing, some Ligeti, there's got to be. A couple of Dvorak Slavic dances. There has to be something by Manuel de Falla, of course, because they're in Spain. His Batik Fantasy. There's got to be some Rachmaninoff, which is a romance for piano, 6 hands. Okay. The Dvorak Slavic dances are arranged for 4 hands. So this is really piano glory. If you love pianos, you'll love this. Then, but if you really want to hear some now music, well, then later in the day, you have your chance to hear what I call now music. Music that's being created now. And I don't have a decent announcement composed for this one, but Wednesday, November 12th at 8 o'clock in the evening, New York time, Roulette Intermedium Theater is live streaming an event called Music of Anthony Braxton. That's Mary Halverson and George Lewis and the International Contemporary Ensemble playing the music of Anthony Braxton. This is part of a 4-part series they're doing in November. They've been doing a huge honor to George Braxton in recent months. The ICE, the International Contemporary Ensemble, they have premiered over 1,000 works of music, according to their publicity materials. They've played all over the world. They've played at the Warsaw Autumn Festival, the Here Now in Los Angeles, the Darmstadt International Summer Courses for New Music, the OJ or OHI, even though I lived in LA, I don't know how this is pronounced, OJAI, Music Festival, the Adelaide Festival. They've played in places like the Disney Concert Hall, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, etc. So if you're interested in now music and especially the music of Anthony Braxton, or if you don't know his music, here's your chance to experience it for free. People are paying $30, $40, $50 for some of these concerts. You get them for free live online. Go for it. So then we move on to Thursday. I do think I am getting better at being expeditious in these presentations. Thursday, we have another St. Mary's Perivale live stream. We have one on Thursday and we have one on Sunday. And I screwed that up, all right. because this is another piano duo. So you had 5 pianos playing 4-hand and 6-hand pieces, and this will be 2 pianos. But they're not telling us whether some of these are 4-handed pieces or exactly how they're doing them. St. Mary's Perivale live streams its second piano duo of the week on Thursday, November 13th, with award-winning up-and-coming pianist Misha Kaploukhii and Magdalene playing Brahms, Busoni, and Schubert. Yeah, and the Brahms piece is 2 pieces, Variations on a Theme by Robert Schumann, Opus 23, and Choral Preludes, Opus 122. Well, they'll do a selection of those preludes. Then they'll play Busoni's Finnländische Folkweisen, which means Finnish folk songs. And Schubert's Rondo in A major and Allegro in A minor, which is called the LIVEstream, that last one. These 2 have played together before. They did a recital at Holy Trinity Church on Sloane Square back in August, so they're not completely new to each other. They're young. Kaploukhii was born in 2002, and Magdalene was born in 2003. Misha would appear to be Russian because he studied at the Knesset School College of Music and then went to the Royal College of Music, where he's currently studying. Multiple award-winning, the most notable one being the Sheep Drove Piano Competition, which I think he won earlier this year. Magdalene is Malaysian, studied at the Purcell School and then the Royal College of Music, also a multiple award winner over the last 7 or 8 years. This year she's making her debut at the Tonhalle in Zurich with the Royal Swedish National Orchestra, and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. I'm sorry, and also with the Lithuanian National Phil. Nice concert. Okay, then we move on. Another concert on Thursday, which will be an early music concert by this group with an unusual name. And I think what I'll do for you is I will put it there. I'll put up the Midtown concert sign because it is a Midtown Concerts live stream. So why not let them have their own pub up there? Midtown Concerts live streams Y415, the early music ensemble of violins, viola da gamba, and harpsichord in Au Pied de Parnasse, at the foot of Parnassus, featuring works by Arcangelo Corelli and François Couperin, who were luminaries of the early 18th century French music scene. This is the late period of Louis XIV. They had a live stream last week, which was situated in a group situated in the same period, but focusing on women composers of the time, of one of whom really loved Arcangelo Corelli. Anyway, it's Maya Ito Johnson and Joss Liu on the violins, Kat Slovic on the viola da gamba, and Henry Burnham on the harpsichord. We don't know exactly which pieces by these people they'll be playing. As for Y415, they were formed at the Yale School of Music some time ago. They are specializing in the early modern repertoires, and this is likely to be another high quality early music on period instrument live stream from the very expert folks at Midtown Concerts. So hats off to them for such consistent quality, and check out what these Yale School of Music alumni are putting together for you under the mysterious name of Y415. Au Pied de Parnasse. Okay, so we move on to, I think we're moving on to Friday now. I hope, the Kennedy Center. And I do not have I don't have a picture for you to put up for the Kennedy Center because we don't get pictures for this particular kind of live stream they do. So Friday, November 14th, the Kennedy Center welcomes back members of the National Symphony Orchestra for a live stream concert of music by Carlos Simon, Shostakovich, and Mendelssohn, played by violinist Joel Fuller and Derek Powell, violist Mahoko Eguchi, and cellist Rachel Young. As I say, we don't know what actually we do. We know what the program is. They're playing Carlos Simon's Elegy, A Cry from the Grave, Dmitri Shostakovich's Adagio and Allegretto, and Felix Mendelssohn's String Quartet No. 2 in A minor, Opus 13, for those who want proper classical names. It's free of charge. It's always at the same time, 6 o'clock in the evening in Washington, D.C., 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, midnight here in Europe, and 10 o'clock the next morning down under in Australia. Okay. We then move on to Saturday, where we only have one live stream for you, but it's new music once again. Coming to you from our pals at Composers Concordance, run by the inimitable, indefatigable, is it? Gene Pritzker. Saturday, November 15th, Composers Concordance live streams the piano-cello duo Leslie May and Chris Cortez, playing new works by Gene Pritzker, Audrey Morse, and Lynn Bechtold, as well as classics by Nadia Boulanger, Brahms, Fauré, and César Franck. An interesting blend of now music and traditional classics. Very French classics. That'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, which is a very early time for Composers Concordance. Usually they're later at night, which means it'll be at 11 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast and 8 o'clock in the evening, a perfect viewing time here in Europe. They'll be doing Gene Pritzker's We Must Be Still and Still Moving into Another Intensity, Audrey Morse's Animal Suite, and Lynn Bechtold's Don't Look at the Sky. We don't know the specific pieces they'll be doing by that list of other French composers. Leslie May is from China, and before she came to the U.S., she was the first call pianist for the Beijing International Orchestra, and she's been performing. She's performed as a soloist at the Steinway Home in Beijing, Beijing Central Conservatory, University of Iowa, various libraries and colleges in San Diego, where I gather she's based. And she's, while she's originally from China, she's got degrees from the European Music Institute in Vienna and a master's degree in music and piano performance from San Diego State. So yeah, San Diego is where she hangs her head. Christopher Cortez, he's a Mexican-American cellist, but he's based in New York City, as other Mexicans are, and or other Mexican-Americans. He's a freelancer. He's performed, we're told, at Carnegie Hall, Alice Tully Hall, Lincoln, the Lincoln Center, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, BAM, Chicago's Symphony Center, Costa Rica's Teatro Nacional, etc. And he has been the principal cellist with the International Pride Orchestra, he tells us. That's Composers Concordance. It's always live music. It's always now music. It's always Gene Pritzker pulling in these very good, these excellent musicians from all over the world to do really to do whatever they feel like doing. So if you like now music, this is for you. Now we come to this. This is one I was so happy to discover this. This is a harpist who made me cry earlier today when I was doing my research and preparation, playing a Christmas piece in the bleak midwinter. She was playing that. It just really got to me. Why not start your Sunday morning by enjoying the superb young harpist Claudia Besné, live streamed by March Vivo from Madrid at noon on Sunday, November 16th, playing music by a wide range of contemporary composers and 20th century Spanish classics. I ran across some recordings of her playing, and I got all choked up. She's just lovely, and she spends a lot of time up in Sweden, so I'll have to look her up when I'm back up there. And I've contacted her. I would love to do a live online interview with her before that concert on Sundays, so those of you who are followers who follow us can know more about it, know whether or not you want to tune in, because it's at noon here in Europe, which means it'll be very early, 6 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. But if you're staying up late, which many of us do on the West Coast till 3 a.m., you can watch it, or you can watch it down under in Australia at 10 o'clock in the evening, Sunday night. Claudia Besné is from San Sebastian. She put this concert together herself, born 1997, so she's just shy of 30 years old, a couple years shy. Studied at the Mozarteum University of Salzburg, where she got her BA, MA, and postgrad performance scholar and diploma, and she got all that on scholarships. As a soloist, she's played at places like the Quincena Musicale, the Neue Harpfest, the Otonio Music Soriano, and in concert series including the Musei and the Mendieta Cultura. She plays in church music series. She plays a church music series in Sweden that's also identified as noteworthy in her bio note. So I mentioned it to you. And she's premiered works, for example, Francisco Medina's Concerto for Harp and Orchestra, and Skye Bellinson's Quattro Historias Galegas, which she performed with the Royal Philharmonic of Galicia. So the program, a series of contemporary composers who are all still alive, as far as I know. Isaiah Hugan's Let It Out. Anthony Sidney's Prelude for Harp, number 1. Eric Valdemar Schultz's Insectum, number 3. A Moth's Lamentation. Yes, a moth, the thing that flies like that. Laura Hininen's Anin Jäiviljamen Valsi. That's some kind of a valse, I'm pretty sure, and that looks to me like a Finnish name. And then Caroline Lizate's Galactic Suite, Opus 39. Wow. And then she'll finish up with a couple of 20th century Spanish composers, Adolfo Mella Navarro's Prelude, The Luminosity of Waters, and Francisco de Medina's Basque Sonata. The Basque are those people in southwest France and northeast Spain. Sounds like a lovely concert. I commend it to you. Check it out. From what I've heard, her music is just celestial. It's just great. Okay, well, it's kind of easy to talk about harps as being celestial, but in this case they are. And then we have one last live stream to tell you about today. And it's coming to you from the Philadelphia. No, wait, that isn't all of it. There's 2 more to tell you about. Let me not get my notes wrong. Yeah, the next one is I think it's the Elmore String Quartet. Yeah. So we have 2 more. St. Mary's Perivale. 1 more concert from them. Strings are the order of the day for St. Mary's Perivale's Sunday live stream, as the Elmore String Quartet is joined by expert accompanist Robin Green to play a Haydn string quartet and a Fauré piano quintet. That's at the usual 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday here in Europe, 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, and 7 in the morning on the West Coast. The Elmore String Quartet is Xander Croft and Miles Ames on the violins, Ines Oyer Asano on the viola, and Gabriel Francis Decani on the cello. Robin Green is a noted pianist. The Elmore Quartet comes from Manchester, England. They're an award-winning quartet. They are currently the Hans Keller Chamber Fellows at the Guildhall School of Music and Chamber, so they must be pretty good. They've been playing for BBC Radio 3. They performed at Wigmore Hall, King's Place, London, Bridgewater Hall, Oxford's Holywell music room. We don't know of them playing outside of the UK, though. And they are the Penzance Music Ability Foundation's first resident string quartet, which is a 3-year residency, which is going to support them in being able to do all kinds of stuff playing in West Cornwall. So, and Robin Green is an award-winning British pianist with his discography is music of Bach, Mozart, Schumann, Schubert, Kurt Hogue, Hugh Watkins, and Helen Grime. She's a contemporary composer. We've told you about some live streams of her music this fall, actually. And he performed Bach's Goldberg variations on The Crown, that Netflix show about the royal family of England. So, and he teaches piano and chamber music at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. Another fine concert from St. Mary's Perivale. And Hugh Mather, who I also want to get in a live stream and interview, talk with him online so you, our followers, can know more about St. Mary's Perivale, how it got started and how it keeps going and things like that. Basically keeps going because Hugh Mather keeps it going. So, but he could tell us how. They've done an awful lot of live streaming there, and rarely, if ever, does it lack quality. I can't say never, because never say never. Finally, noted cellist Peter Wiley makes his annual appearance at the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society together with top pianist Anna Polonsky, playing works for cello and piano by Brahms and Mendelssohn, and, oh yeah, by the way, 2 works by Beethoven as well. I mention that because their program notes say, well, the core of this is the Brahms and the Mendelssohn. Well, the Beethoven is just, anyway. So those pieces they start with Beethoven's variations on Handel's See, the Conquering Hero Comes. They'll finish with Beethoven's variations on Mozart's Bei Mannen welke Lieder fühlen from Die Zauberflöten, the magic flute. And in between, they'll do Brahms's Cello Sonata in E minor, Opus 38, and then they'll finish with Mendelssohn's Cello Sonata in D major, Opus 58. Peter Wiley spent years in the 90s. He was with the Beaux-Arts Trio, and they played everywhere, and they did over 1,000 performances with them. After that, then he was with the Guarneri ensemble until they stopped touring. So he's a top cellist who's been around for a while, and he's a regular at Philadelphia Chamber Music Society. I could see why they like him. And Polonsky has been called by the New York Times a chamber musician of exceptional refinement. It's hard to do better than exceptional refinement when you're playing that. And she has worked with groups like the Guarneri and Orion and Juilliard and Shanghai quartets. She's worked with people like Yo-Yo Ma and Richard Good. She's done concerts at all the top places like the Amsterdam Concertgebouw, the Vienna Concert House, Carnegie Hall, and etc. She started out in Moscow, Russia, studying, I think it was at the Knesset. It's described as a special central music school in Moscow, but I think that's the Knesset, but I could be wrong. Correct me in the comment section if I am. But then she emigrated to the U.S. in 1990 and went to school at Interlochen up in northern Michigan. I'm from Michigan. And then Curtis Institute in Juilliard. So she's on the piano faculty at Vassar College. In the summertime, you'll find her at Marlborough and Kneissel Hall Chamber music festivals. She works with, she will be a soloist with the New York String Orchestra at Carnegie Hall again this year for the 3rd time. She's a Steinway artist. And Peter Wiley, when he started out, was a prodigy. He was at the Curtis Institute when he was only 13 years old. Then he was principal cellist of the Cincinnati Symphony when he was only 20. And then, as I said, the Guarneri the Beaux-Arts Trio, and then the Guarneri String Quartet. And he's currently teaching at the Curtis Institute of Music and Bard Conservatory of Music. Folks, that's what we have for you this week. I hope that one, some, more, or any of these live streams uplifts you, inspires you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. I particularly, once again, want to warmly recommend to you that harp concert on Sunday, because I think it's by Claudia Besné, because I think it's going to be terrific. And but these are all high quality, very much chamber music, of course, but also those two now music selections from the Roulette Intermediate Theater in New York City on Wednesday, and then from Gene Pritzker and Composers Concordance on Saturday. I'll probably be back. Well, I'm not sure. I will try to be back on Friday, but it's travel day. I'm traveling back to Stockholm on Friday, where I will spend the next couple of months. So maybe I will check in on Thursday with a weekend highlights live stream at the usual sort of 6 o'clock here in Europe, noon on the East Coast, and 9 in the morning on the West Coast, if you want to get more and have some reminders about what the top picks for this weekend are. Ciao for now, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.